Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about 5 essential tools for every jazz musician to have in their practice space. These are going to help you out a ton. So first of all, I got to apologize for not putting any videos out lately. My wife and I have just had our first child. We have a beautiful baby daughter and not getting a lot of sleep, and it's kind of tough to find time to make these videos. You could probably see the bags under my eyes and how bloodshot they are. So I'm finally getting around to making a video. I'm really excited about this one. This is one I've been meaning to make for a while, and I think it's going to be really valuable to all of you out there. So these are 5 tools that I think are essential for you to have as a jazz musician. These are things that I recommend to my students all the time, and most of the other jazz musicians that I know, my friends, the people I play with, my teachers, my colleagues, they all have these 5 tools in their arsenal as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number 1 is going to be a metronome. Now, you could call me kind of an old school guy because I like to have a dedicated metronome that's not on my phone. Of course, I do have a metronome app on my phone. I personally like the Pro metronome app, but I really dig having like an old school separate dedicated metronome. And one of the big reasons that I like that is because sometimes when I go into the practice room, I like to leave my phone in a different room to avoid distractions. We all know that the phone is one of the most distracting things in the universe, and I like to get rid of that distraction for myself every once in a while because I can definitely fall victim to that. I also really dig the fact that this particular metronome, which is the Korg KDM2, has a giant speaker on it, which means this metronome could get about 5 times louder than my phone ever could, and I really appreciate that. I need to have that loud metronome when I'm practicing. This thing is also a tank. I've taken this thing all over the country with me. I've owned this metronome for probably about the past decade, and this thing has been tried and true. Really love this metronome. And now that I've told you that I don't like to have the phone in the room with me, we're gonna go to an exclusively phone app, and that is something that I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, iReal Pro. I think that this is an essential piece of practice equipment for the jazz musician. It's just so useful. The utility of this app cannot be beaten by anything else out there. Yeah, the backing tracks are cheesy, MIDI, but the flexibility is absolutely unmatched. You can play any tune in any key, at any tempo, in any style. Now, if that's not something useful for every single musician out there, I really don't know what is. There's also the incredible ability on iReal Pro to make your own chord progressions. So let's say that you're practicing a particular concept and you need a very specific chord progression at a very specific tempo in a very specific time signature. You can create it in seconds on the iReal Pro app. That, in my mind, is probably one of the most valuable things that modern technology has brought us. So if you don't have iReal Pro, you need to get it. I think it's only like $16, which is expensive for an app, but it will be one of the most valuable things that you have in your arsenal in terms of things that you're going to use on a daily basis that are going to make your life so much easier. All right, number 3 is a good old paper reel book. You can see right here I have the Hal Leonard Volume 1 and Volume 2 reel books. And you might be saying to yourself, well, you have iReal Pro, why do you need paper reel books? Well, there are no melodies on iReal Pro, and these books contain some of the most popular songs in the jazz language that you need to know. So they are just such a good reference for every jazz musician. You should have these. You need to have these in your studio. Now, I'm a big fan of learning things by ear and figuring things out by listening, but there's just something to having the reference in the room where if I can't figure out the particular note on a melody, or if I'm getting a little bit confused, something's too fast, I always have this for reference. These books are also great to bring on gigs because it's something that the entire band can look at and all be on the same page if you're playing with people that don't necessarily have a ton of tunes memorized. And these new Hal Leonard real books are so good. They're mostly very accurate. There's only a couple of things in here that I have qualms with in terms of like the chord changes being different from the way that I learned it. But in general, everything in here is pretty accurate and reliable. Not like those old real books. If any of you are as old as me, you remember going into the music store and asking, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, can I get a real book? And you got those old handwritten ones by the Berkeley students in the 1970s. Those were such a fantastic reference. But let's admit it, there were a lot of mistakes in there, probably due to a bunch of college kids writing them out at like 2, 3 in the morning. So the fact that Hal Leonard has put these books out and has really gone through and edited them is a fantastic thing, and they're so readily available everywhere. So pick up Volume 1 and Volume 2 at the minimum to have these fantastic references in your studio. All right, tool number 4 is some kind of recorder. Again, this is like the metronome. I love having this dedicated recorder. This is the Zoom H4n Pro, and this makes it really, really handy for me when I'm working on a particular concept to record myself playing it and then critique myself afterward. Now, again, you could just use the voice recorder on your phone. I often do as well, but these things are great. They're very multi-use. You can take these and record an entire gig if you want. There's 2 condenser microphones built into the top that are much more high quality than the mics on your cell phone. And there's also the ability to plug in 2 more microphones on the bottom, giving you 4 channels of audio. This is a really handy tool for any musician to have. And as you can see, it's a very powerful machine that is also extremely portable. You can bring this thing with you anywhere. But if you don't feel like going out and buying this dedicated, somewhat expensive unit, just use the voice memo app on your phone. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Now, tool number 5 that I think everybody should have is another tool on the phone. It's another app on the phone, and that is an ear training app. These are absolutely essential. And no matter whether you're on Android or Apple, there are literally dozens and dozens and dozens of apps for free out there that you can use for ear training practice. Now, the coolest part about this being on your phone is that you can literally do ear training anywhere. A lot of the time, I'll fire up that ear training app when I'm waiting for something. If a student doesn't show up and I'm sitting around for half an hour, I'll do 10 minutes of ear training and then practice for 20 minutes. I've even fired up the ear training app in my car and done a little bit on the road because, as you know, musicians travel a lot. That can be wasted time, but not today because we have these fantastic apps that can really allow us to get better as musicians anywhere we are in any situation. In fact, one of the things that I've done since my daughter has been born is just strap on a pair of headphones while I'm holding her, put on the ear training app, do a little bit of ear training practice while I'm hanging out with my daughter. These apps are amazing. I'll list a few of my favorite ear training apps in the description below this video, and you could also chime in the comments section and let everybody know what some of your favorite ear training apps are. So that's it. That's 5 tools that I highly recommend that I think everybody out there watching this, if you are a jazz musician, you should have this somewhere in your studio. These are going to pay off big time. I'd also love to hear from you. Is there anything essential in your studio that I've missed in this video? Let me know what's in your studio that you could not live without, and maybe it's something I haven't thought of yet. Now, I will be listing all of these products, these physical products, in the description below, and those are going to be affiliate links. If you click on those links and use them to buy anything, I do get a small percentage of what you buy from Amazon. Doesn't cost you any extra, and it's a great way to kick a little bit of extra money to the channel if you were gonna buy these products anyway. All right, so thanks for watching. Looking to do a lot more videos in the future now that we're kind of in the groove of things with our new kid. So hopefully I will see you guys soon. Hit that like button if you liked this video, and if you loved it, subscribe and turn on notifications, and we'll talk to you soon. Hope you're all doing well out there. Bye, everybody.